Tonight on News 5 Live, not guilty. Justice Colin Williams rules that WPC Michelle Brown is not guilty of the December 2017 murder of Fareed Ahmad. We hear from the Ahmad family following the verdict. Augustine Cook is executed on Partridge Street in Belize City as he headed home from work on Thursday evening. His common-law wife was on a phone call with him when he was killed. He was reported missing on Thursday, but this morning, Darwin Chavarria was found shot to death in Punta Gorda. 4 persons are shot on Lakeview Street this morning, including 3 residents of Mayflower Street who were fired upon by a police officer. And a raft of new COVID-19 measures will come into effect this weekend, beginning with an 8 o'clock curfew on Sunday night. Details of these stories and much more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using smart.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, December 18th. I am Sabrina Daly. We begin tonight's newscast from the Supreme Court in Belize City with a ruling in the murder case involving well-known barber Farid Ahmad. On December 28, 2017, Ahmad was killed. He died while receiving treatment at the KHMH after he was shot in the head inside his vehicle that crashed on the side of the road between miles 16 and 17 on the George Price Highway. Woman Police Constable Michelle Brown was pinned inside the BMW SUV on the passenger side. Her service-issued weapon was discovered in the vehicle and was determined to have been used in Ahmad's shooting. He had made several complaints to the Professional Standards Branch of harassment by the department. Brown was later charged for his murder, and trial began earlier this year before Supreme Court Justice Colin Williams. Today, the trial on the murder of Ahmad came to an end, and Brown was found not guilty of the crime based on insufficient evidence presented to the courts. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Arguably the most prominent Supreme Court trial of 2020 came to an end today in the courtroom of Justice Colin Williams. The judge ruled that Police Constable Michelle Brown is not guilty of the December 2017 murder of well-known barber Farid Ahmad. Trial began in late November, in which testimonies by key witnesses were heard, some reliable and others were completely disregarded. In conclusion, Justice Williams felt that the prosecution had not satisfied the court that Brown was guilty of murder.
From the onset of this incident, we had, as a family, we were resolute to leave the matter up to the court and the hands of the law. And so there is a verdict, and we respect that verdict. And as a family, we will just continue to move on, pick up the pieces and, move on from here.
Inconsistencies in the evidence presented by the prosecution, coupled with quote-unquote disappearing evidence, which include photographs taken at the scene but not submitted in court, not to mention particles and swabs taken by scenes of crime personnel from Farid's BMW SUV that were documented but were never heard or presented in court. Present for the ruling today were members of the Ahmad family. Following the ruling, we asked Tahira Ahmad about her take on these comments.
We had every optimism and respect for the process of the law. And so, yes, we did hear some disheartening, I would say, missing pieces. But, we have to respect the verdict and the process that took its course, right?
The fact is that essentially you guys are not getting justice for the death of your brother.
Well, justice for us means Farid being here. And if Farid is not here, then, that it's...
Justice Williams also looked at the cause of death of Farid. A report says that his death was due to a brain injury sustained when the vehicle crashed into a parked vehicle after he was shot. In his ruling, the judge noted that he did not believe portions of Brown's testimony where she said that a third person got into Farid's vehicle, whom she recognized by voice as a member of the special assignment team. The woman police officer accused that person as the trigger man.
Well, I think quite a bit came up during the trial. I think as well that there were certain names of officers that she also mentioned, right? And maybe that is an element for question in terms of the prosecution and the DPP's office. Why were those missing pieces not presented in the trial, right? It's unfortunate how it ended up, but this is a process and we have to respect what arises out of it.
The next step for healing for your family, given that the culprit, whoever that person is still out here.
At the end of the day, we are also a God-fearing family. And so that person or those persons will have to live with what they did and have to give account to the best of judge, right? And so we will live with that. But in terms of, picking up the pieces, we will go and continue remembering Farid as the loving brother and caring son and father and loving husband as he was, and continue living with those cherished memories, right? As we have been doing for the past 3 to 4 years.
Now, for years, including the day prior to the killing of Farid, the Ahmad family had been making complaints of police harassment and being targeted by the department. Almost 3 years after his death, has the aggravation stopped?
You highlight something that, our family has been struggling with for a couple of years, right? The fact that we have been unnecessarily harassed and being targeted, unjustifiably, right? We hope now that the fact that, the process has taken its course and, there was an investigation and there was a trial and this is the outcome of it. We just hope now that our family can, continue to live in peace and all the harassment and the ongoing surveillance over us is ceased.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Multiple gunshots rang out on Lakeview Street this morning, where officers on mobile patrol got into a shootout with several persons who had reportedly opened fire on an individual who was walking near Bannock Street moments earlier. When the smoke cleared, 4 persons had been injured, and the area was strewn with shell casings. The cause of the exchange is said to be an ongoing rivalry among factions of the same gang. Those 4 persons were hospitalized for various injuries. News 5's Isani Caetano reports.
This morning on Lakeview Street, 4 persons were injured, including a woman, in a barrage of gunshots fired by civilians, as well as a law enforcement officer who happened to be in that vicinity. The incident happened sometime around 8:30 a.m. Superintendent Alejandro Cowo is the officer commanding the Crimes Investigation Branch at Eastern Division.
Police has been aggressively conducting searches in this area because we know that there's an increase of rivalry between the 2 gang elements within that area. And early this morning, they responded to shots being fired. And upon police arrival, they observed 3 male persons fleeing from the area. When police attempted to stop them, they fired shots at the police, and the police responded by firing shots at them.
If the markers that dotted Lakeview Street during the processing of the scene are any indication, well over a dozen rounds were discharged during the shootout. Kendra Foreman, whose son was one of the 4 persons injured, gives an entirely different account of what transpired.
My nephew was went on Bannock Street through the alley, and was about a minute after or less, we heard shots start fire, and he got shot. Now, my nephew, the home, my nephew, the home, my son, the home, and the young lady we got shot in the home at the same time. So when I hear the shot, my son think that one of his friend to the alley, I say song like that his friend all where they saw. So he get up and he gone, and the police say me done the on the scene already though. So he get up and he gone, cause he thinking now that one of his friend get shot. So police then come and see my son. They go downstairs, they go to the alley, walk out the yard. They try to go to the alley where they saw. It shot my son, just shot in my hand. My nephew, the same way, everybody they come, it shot my nephew in his side. And the same thing he do with the young lady, Nikita.
34-year-old Nikita Smith was shot in the right knee and was treated and discharged from the KHMH. Residents say that an internal feud among factions of the Ghost Town Crips has resulted in gun violence.
The first shooting was from one of the guys in that hang on Bannock Street with the man there. Shot one of the guys there, we hang through here because the gang crowd kind of broke in half. So right now the Wali war between Bannock crowd and the Mayflower Street crowd. So, and we know this been happening for months. No care how you call Chester, no care what you tell Chester, that apparently to him on the Chuya, the crowd them from Chuya that they bad egg. We know the sway for the early boy and say then they're good, or then they're better than the crowd Chu there.
According to Superintendent Kawa, quite a few officers responded to the incident and happened upon the men as they were attempting to flee the area.
It was a number of police officers that responded to that shooting. What we understand is that initially a male person from the Mayflower area was seen walking in the Bannock area, and someone from the Bannock area pursued the person and fired shot at him. Later on, that person came back along with other person. They fired shot at the other person who had fired shot to them earlier. And as a result, while that was happening, the 3 male persons, they were fleeing from there at the same time when the unmarked police arrived and they encountered and they had the shootout between them.
Earlier this week, Kendra Foreman had given an interview to News 5 in which she vented her frustration with the situation and what she says is a deliberate profiling of her son by law enforcement.
I don't need nothing else to say. I don't even know what officer. I'm tired of physically, mentally, and emotionally frustrated with their police here.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Just as our evening newscast was wrapping up on Thursday night, shots rang out on Partridge Street in Belize City. The life of 27-year-old forklift driver Augustine Koch was ended by a gunman who came up to him and fired several shots in his direction. Koch was heading home to his family on Hawes Street when he was killed. News 5's Dwayne Moody found out that Koch's common-law wife was on the phone with him and heard as he was being murdered. Here's his report.
He was working for years as a forklift driver with RC Imports, but on Thursday night, after clocking off from work and heading home, 27-year-old Augustine Koch was murdered. Koch was walking on Partridge Street when a gunman opened fire on him. Even as he collapsed on the ground, his attacker stood over him and emptied the clip. Frighteningly, Koch's common-law wife was on the phone with him when he came under attack.
He showed me to talk on the phone with my brother-in-law. The same time the incident may happen. So, man, it's crazy. Like even just to think about it, you know, you to talk by your phone to your gentleman, and you to hear the shots in the background, and he turned around, asking her. He just asked because you hear it on the phone. He asked on the phone, what happened? And then after that, all she started hearing more shots after that. And after that, she up on the phone and holla, babe, like he asked me if I respond and no response.
The family ran out to the scene to find Koch on the sidewalk dead. His mother arrived in the city this afternoon, and the families are trying to come to terms with the devastating loss.
You see this stuff on the news, and man, Belize is so cold, man. They cold. And these people don't have no heart, no regards, no sympathy, nothing. You know, yeah, he's a hard-working young man. He have a hobbies. He drink and he smoke, but that are his hobbies. You know, he's hard-working on. Yeah. So you know, he work to home. If you catch him out there because he went buy something, you understand, and come right back home. So if you say, man, I don't know as no gang figure. I don't know as like they wrong nobody like that. When the guy already, you know, shot her on the first time, he gone over and finish her off, man. Like, what could I drive him if he gone to that extent? If you don't remember, I'll leave that.
The murder occurred just before 7 p.m. and police responded within minutes. By then, the gunman had already fled the scene.
Mr. Koch had just concluded his day work and was dropped off at the corner of Partridge and Cemetery Road when he was walking on Partridge Street, and he was approached by someone who fired the fatal shots at him.
Sir, the suspects at this time, any motive?
We have a number of persons detained. The motive, so far we have not established it, but I can tell you that Mr. Koch has not had any encounter with the authorities, and he does not appear in our records, none at all.
Koch was to celebrate his 28th birthday on December 24th. His mother's birthday is on the 21st, and he leaves behind 4 children, including 2 stepchildren.
It's real devastating, hard, because then now if you look at my nieces there and my nephew, you know, because he have 2 kids, but he have 2 stepkids as well. And he took the 2 stepkids as his own for being a young man. And just 27, and he took them from, he died my sister like 10 years. He now be the provider, the breadwinner for the family.
Yeah, so senseless killing.
Senseless killing. Innocent dude. The person who do it, man, I don't know why he do it in that manner, you know, like to an innocent young man like that.
It is very unfortunate for what happened to him and the family. And yes, indeed, innocent people are cut because of this dispute that they have amongst them. And he was a victim last night that I believe that he was just a target because the persons who did the shooting could not find who they were looking for.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
There's another murder to report. This time it happened in southern Belize, where 37-year-old Darwin Chavarria met a gruesome end in Punta Gorda. The Cattle Landing resident was last seen alive around 10 on Wednesday morning, and when he didn't return home, his family filed a missing person report on Thursday. We are told that also on Thursday, police discovered an SUV that Chavarria was driving. It was completely burnt and discarded on Waterhole Road on the outskirts of PG. Relatives also shared that Chavarria's slippers and other personal belongings were found in the vicinity. But it wasn't until today, sometime around 8:30 this morning, that the search efforts led to Chavarria's bullet-riddled body. Information to News 5 is that his hands were also bound. Reports are that on Wednesday evening, when Chavarria's wife returned home, she found their house ransacked and there were signs of forced entry on the back door. Further police investigation revealed that there was a struggle inside a bedroom. According to reports, the family suspects that Chavarria may have been killed by robbers who targeted him for money he had made from a recent sale. Kassian Bilari of Awari Street in Belize City was arraigned before Senior Magistrate Aretha Ford for the murder of 19-year-old Micah Balthazar. Bilari couldn't be offered bail and no plea was taken because the charge is an indictable offense to be tried only in the Supreme Court. He was remanded to prison today. On Monday night, Balthazar, a gas attendant, had just left a relative's house on Crawl Road and he was walking on Niels Penn Road when he was gunned down. According to head of Eastern Division's Crimes Investigation Branch, Superintendent Alejandro Cobo, Balthazar may have been killed because of the area that he frequents. Coming up, a new SI comes into effect on Sunday. A curfew is implemented, as well as prohibition on the sale of liquor beyond 6 o'clock.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, "Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it." When Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany in 1933, he scornfully dismissed the church and her pastors as an irrelevant force which posed no threat to the Nazi agenda for that great nation. He boasted to his inner circle that if I wished to, I could destroy the church in just a few years. It is hollow, it is rotten and false through and through. One push and the whole structure would collapse. We should trap the preachers, he said, by their notorious greed and self-indulgence. They will swallow anything in order to keep their material advantage. The parsons will be made to dig their own graves. They will betray their God for us. They will betray anything for the sake of their miserable jobs and income. The dictator's words proved to be tragically accurate. The great majority of Christians in Germany looked the other way and remained silent. However, in 1940, at the height of Hitler's power and popularity, a courageous young pastor named Dietrich Bonhoeffer denounced the church's failure to speak out against the evil. He called on the church to repent of her silence and cowardice. Bonhoeffer's warning went unheeded, and in less than 5 years he was hung naked from a piano wire noose in Flossenburg concentration camp, having paid the cost of discipleship. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Have you been a victim of gender-based violence and were dissatisfied with the service received from the department you visited? The National Women's Commission developed a complaint form which addresses the concerns of victims of gender-based violence who felt that they were not treated professionally by the police, healthcare professionals, social service institutions, or other relevant sectors. The form is filled out by the victim or another person on his or her behalf. The form should be placed in the box provided at the designated office in your district. These forms are self-addressed, so they can also be folded, stapled, and mailed to the address on the form free of cost by any post office countrywide. Your information will be held in the strictest confidence. You will be able to fill out the form online, which will be on the National Women's Commission website. After the form has been sent, an internal investigation will be conducted by the relevant department, and you will be notified of the changes made as a result of your complaint. The victim's complaint mechanism will be rolled out in all districts. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission with funding from Engender and Spotlight projects and support from the Department of Youth Services.
Human trafficking is modern-day slavery for the purpose of exploitation. Anyone can be a victim of human trafficking. Victims can be male or female and can belong to any social class, religious denomination, or ethnicity. Usually, the common thread amongst human trafficking victims is some form of vulnerability. For example, gender inequality, the absence of equal opportunities, and economic hardship. Who is responsible for human trafficking? Traffickers can be anyone. Trafficker may even be relatives and friends. Recruiting tactics of traffickers and baiting techniques. Advertise in local papers or television stations for high-paying jobs in great locations. Offer opportunities to travel or study. Meet with families directly with a promise for a better future for all of them. Kidnapping or abduction. The national response. ATIPS, the Anti-Trafficking in Person Council. We are here to help. Council was established to coordinate the efforts of the government of Belize to prevent and combat trafficking in person and to provide support and protection to victims. Reporting. To report, the Police Department 911. Crime Stoppers Belize 0800 922 TIPS. Get involved. For more information, visit us on www.facebook.com/atipsbz.
Unlike the other guys, Digi doesn't throttle customers down to 3G.
Which is why anyone would be a fool not to invest. So, do we have a deal? Hello? Hello?
Instead, Digi offers more LTE speeds in all mobile phone plans.
You, sir, are brilliant. Thank you for doing business with us.
Plus, the most affordable prepaid mobile data plans starting as low as $1.
Last year Christmas, we gathered in groups with family and friends, went shopping and spent time together in crowded spaces. If we do this during the COVID-19 pandemic, however, we'll help the virus to spread. Most of us have a family member who's elderly, or young but obese, or who has high blood pressure or diabetes. And while we want to hang out with them this Christmas, to stay safe during this holiday season, celebrate with only the members of your household, meaning the people who live in your home. Even though we have family and friends who would not want to harm us, inviting persons from other homes increases the risk of being exposed to COVID-19. Of course, we still have to wash hands frequently and wear a mask that covers nose and mouth consistently. And remember, if anybody is sick, if anyone has a cold, stuffy nose, cough, fever, or just feels tired, that person should stay home. A message from the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, European Union, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Belize Police Department is now accepting applications for Recruit Squad number 95. Application forms can be obtained at the nearest police stations or downloaded via the police website at www.belizepolice.bz. Completed application forms along with recent police record and other supporting documents can be submitted to the National Police Training Academy or to the nearest head police station in the districts no later than 5 p.m. on Thursday, December 31. Applicants must be a Belizean national, must be between the ages of 18 and 35, must be no less than 5 feet 5 inches tall, and must be in possession of a high school diploma or higher qualifications. Applications will only be honored based on applicants meeting all the necessary criteria. Join the Belize Police Department. Be a part of intake number 95.
There are new COVID-19 measures being implemented going into the Christmas holidays, including a nightly curfew that will keep most Belizeans inside their homes at 8 o'clock. The announcement of new measures came this morning during a press conference held by the Ministries of Health and Wellness and Home Affairs. While an existing 10 o'clock curfew expires on Saturday morning, another comes into effect on Sunday night, and there is no definitive date as to when it will be lifted. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa outlines the curfew, which also includes a separate restrictions of movement for minors.
We will now be having a nationwide curfew, and that is starting on the 20th of December, and it will commence at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. every evening you are to be at home, and that goes until 5 a.m. the following morning. Minors, anybody under 16 years of age, must be at a residence or their home that they are staying by 6 p.m. So it is different for minors. You have to be home by 6 p.m. and that curfew extends to 5 a.m. the following morning. This curfew of 8 p.m. excludes workers in the following professions: the security forces, Customs and Excise Department, the Department of Immigration Services, frontline healthcare providers with the Ministry of Health, or any other essential worker issued a badge by the Minister of Home Affairs. So everybody else has to be at home by 8 p.m., minors by 6 p.m.
The use of face masks remains mandatory, despite the penalty for the offense of not having one or wearing it improperly having been reduced to a fine of $500. For business owners, the Ministry of Home Affairs emphasizes that customers adhere to all COVID-19 protocols, including social distancing and hand sanitizing. And since it is the height of the shopping season, justice of the peace will be assigned to businesses to ensure that order is being kept and that patrons are in compliance with these regulations.
Face masks. You must be tired of hearing about face masks, but every single day the police department is arresting and detaining, in some cases, hundreds of individuals violating this very measure, the wearing of face masks, and wearing face masks properly, meaning it must cover your nose and your mouth. There is no need for you to wear face masks if you are at a private residence, if you are exercising, swimming, if you are driving alone, or driving with members of the same household. Those are the only exceptions. In terms of businesses, no owner or manager of a business should allow entry to anyone who is not wearing their face mask and wearing it properly. So there is a responsibility being placed on owners and managers of establishment. Please ensure that your customers are wearing face masks at all times. It is an offense not to wear face masks and not to wear it properly, and the charge for that offense is $500. You will recall that there was a maximum that was imposed under the last couple SIs of $5,000. Well, in practice, at the magistrates court level, we saw where the magistrates were fining people between $500 to $1,500. Much of those fines have not been paid, but in fact the police is going to be following up on those fines, so you have a responsibility to pay that.
From the health perspective, the number of active cases has decreased considerably to a little over 1,500 infections based on a redefined method by the World Health Organization on determining whether a person is recovered. Minister of Health and Wellness Michelle Shabat spoke of rapid testing being conducted across the country. As for social gatherings, the Minister of Home Affairs says the limit is 10 visitors only and not for the purpose of partying.
Currently, we have 1,526 active cases and sadly 213 deaths to report. These are all cumulative numbers. Again, my sincere condolences go out to all who have lost a loved one to this dreaded virus. With the increase in rapid testing throughout the country by public and private facilities, we have been able to test, detect, and isolate an increasing number of persons with COVID-19. As promised, we have rolled out rapid testing and we have instituted mobile units that are now also doing the rapid testing for COVID-19. And some of the areas we are now covering include in Orange Walk, the People's Stadium, which we attend on Tuesdays and Fridays. And in the high-risk communities, we have the mobile units visiting twice a week. In the Stann Creek District, we have the Pomona Health Center, the West Track construction site, and the Dangriga Police Station, and the banana farms.
Gatherings. I know that at this time of year, many people are questioning, can I have anybody over at my house? No. You are not allowed to have anybody at your house. So no type of private gathering is allowed. You cannot organize, host, or attend private gatherings. 10 people maximum. So every now and again you might have a visitor. Unexpected. That's different from hosting a private gathering. You can have a visitor, but make sure it is never over 10 people. The moment you're over 10 people inside your residence, then everybody can be charged under this SI. Everybody. The person who owns the house and those who are attending that private gathering that has more than 10 people.
When we come back, we'll have more from today's press conference.
Buenos días. 2 boletos para Titacas, por favor. Ida y vuelta. 54. Ese dinero es falso. ¿Falso?
Sí, este billete es falso.
¿Y por qué es falso?
Porque un verdadero billete de $50 tiene una marca de agua en la forma de un jaguar con la marca de agua y electrotipia de denominación y un hilo de seguridad.
Conozca su dinero. Reconozca el billete falso al verlo. No se confíe en solo una de las características de seguridad. Busque la claridad y calidad de la impresión. Las líneas y el color impresos deben ser nítidas y claras. Sienta la calidad del papel y de la impresión levantada. Ponga el billete a la luz y observe. El hilo de seguridad abantanillada debe formar una línea completa cuando se pone a la luz. La marca de agua y la electrotipia de denominación, el Jaguar, es la marca de agua en los billetes de 100 y 50 dólares. El gigante dormido es la marca de agua en los billetes de 20, 10, 5 y 2 dólares. El registro perfecto. Las partes del diseño impreso en la parte posterior deben caber exactamente dentro de las áreas sin imprimir en el frente del billete para formar el diseño completo. Revise los billetes de 100 dólares para saber si está el holograma del tucán con la impresión sobrepuesta de la flor de vinca per vinca. Inclínelo para ver las imágenes pequeñas del tucán y el numeral 100. Revise los billetes de 50 dólares para saber si está la imagen del pez ángel en color verde plateado. Mira más cerca. Utilice luz ultravioleta para ver los elementos fluorescentes. Utilice una lupa para ver las letras más pequeñas que leen Central Bank of Belize y el valor del billete. Detenga la circulación de los billetes beliceños falsos. Pasa todas las falsificaciones a la policía inmediatamente. Es una ofensa criminal guardar o utilizar falsificaciones. Esté a salvo, esté seguro, conozca su dinero.
GOB employees, make this Christmas one to remember with a no-hassle loan from QuickStop. Starting November 20th, all first-time customers automatically qualify for a $500 cash advance. Returning customers get double their last loan offer. Visit your nearest QuickStop branch or apply online at quickstoponline.com. QuickStop Personal Finance Center. No hassle loans.
Every day, women and men in Belize become victims of gender-based violence, which results in emotional, sexual, financial, and physical abuse. Are you a survivor of gender-based violence and in imminent danger? Don't be afraid. There are ways you can get help. You can call our free emergency numbers at 0800 AWAY OUT or text or WhatsApp 672-9628 or call 911 to make a report at any time of the day or night. A police officer will assist you. You can also contact the Women and Family Support Department for women abuse or the Department of Human Services for child abuse in your district to discuss options for temporary housing or medium to long-term care and psychosocial support. You can also go directly to the family or magistrate court and obtain a protection order that restrains the abuser from coming in contact with you, or apply for an occupation and tenancy order that orders the abuser to leave the home for the period of time they see fit. Visiting your nearest hospital or polyclinic for medical attention or further referrals is also something you can do. Together, we can end gender-based violence in Belize. We are here to help you. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects, with support from the Department of Youth Services.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. Stronger together. The Belize Bank. Our country. Your bank.
A message from the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, European Union, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Smart got you this December with the We Kinda Christmas promotion. Starting December 4th, you can avoid the rush and be safe while visiting our showrooms to get these one-of-a-kind deals.
Devices start as low as $70 with the Evil Star Mobile. Other devices like the Nokia 2V for just $165, Motorola E6 for only $235, and Samsung A51 for $675. Check this out. The first 10 persons to purchase any of our iPhone 7s get 50% off that device. Each device comes with 50 SMS, $10 promo credit, plus 2 gigabytes of data, all for free.
Looking for tablets? Then take advantage of the Amazon Kindle 8-inch for $155. Or get a Samsung Tab A10.
All phones come with a starter pack, free SMS, credit and data, plus an extra Christmas treat of 2 gigabytes data, a package valued at over $27 for free.
Now that's we kind of prices. And you can only get them at Smart.
The new statutory instrument that comes into effect this weekend also applies to restaurants and bars, schools, as well as participation in contact sports. Where schools are concerned, they will remain closed indefinitely. Restaurants, however, are allowed to operate at 50% of capacity by reservations only.
Restaurants, diners, and food vendors shall only offer takeout, delivery, or drive-through. However, there is provision again for open air, outdoor, or al fresco dining, but that must be by reservation, and you cannot go over 50% of your capacity. So if you have a restaurant that could accommodate 300 people, but it has to be outdoor, you can only have 150 people, and they all have to make appointments. They have to make reservations before they come there. I don't think there's any restaurant that could seat so many people. I'm just giving an example. Many outdoor restaurants are extremely small, so perhaps a better example would be 20. If that's your seating capacity outdoor, then you can only have 10 at any given time. The food vendors are allowed to sell, but again, continuing from the last SI, only from a private property. You cannot be on the street side selling, you must be on a private property. Schools under this SI shall remain closed, but of course they may continue to operate online and virtually. Recreational non-contact sports, tennis, golf, table tennis, or any other similar non-contact sport will be allowed. Non-contact. So basketball, you cannot play basketball. Football, you cannot play football. Any of these other sports that entails contact shall remain for the time being restricted.
The sale of liquor is also being prohibited beyond 6 p.m. daily. That, too, is indefinite. While alcohol can still be consumed in the privacy of one's home, you are not allowed to purchase beers, wines, or hard liquor beyond 6 o'clock. Inter-district travel has also been banned in the north for the time being. Minister of Home Affairs, Karim Musa, explains.
Every business that sells liquor, you are no longer allowed to sell liquor after 6 p.m. So if it is that you want to pick up a beverage before you go home, remember curfew is 8 o'clock. So please get your beverage. I know it's the time of year that you might want to get an alcoholic beverage. Pick it up before 6 p.m., take it to your home, and you can enjoy it there. The reason this has become necessary is because what we have noticed in the last weeks and months is a lot of individuals have been going to parks, have been going to the seaside in large numbers and to consume for the most part. Some of them are not, but a lot of them are consuming alcohol. So they're finding a way around the bars. So again, it is regrettable we have to take this stand, but we must. So nobody is allowed to sell alcohol after 6 p.m. Another new provision. No person shall enter or exit the Orange Walk or Corozal districts unless, so we do have exceptions to this, unless you are going to and from work, or you are traveling for the purpose of food distribution or for a medical emergency. So, Madam AG, there is no inter-district traveling and there is no inner-district traveling, meaning I cannot go from the Cayo district to the Orange Walk district to purchase tacos. I cannot do that. As much as I enjoy tacos like my friend Mr. Perifit, I cannot do that. There is also no inner district commute. What does that mean? It means that you cannot, even within Orange Walk, go from one village to another village, or from one village to a town, even though it's within Orange Walk. And so we are restricting the travel to these districts and within these districts, and you can only do so, like I said, with those exceptions.
On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Chief Executive Officer Amalia Mai received a check of $59,584.39 from Mexico's ambassador to Belize, Martha Ofelia Zamaripa Rivas. A release from the government press office says that the funds will be used to provide humanitarian assistance, specifically food and sanitizing items, to Belizeans affected by ETA and IOTA. CEO Mai expressed appreciation, especially in light of the difficult economic situation worldwide as a consequence of the global pandemic. Of note is that Belize and Mexico have enjoyed bilateral and political relations since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1981. The government of Belize received a donation of humanitarian relief from the government of Brazil to assist in the aftermath of tropical depression ETA and floods caused by Hurricane Iota. The donation package includes food items, hygiene kits, water, and mattresses. Minister of Human Development Dolores Balderramos Garcia and Minister of Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management Orlando Habet received the donation from the ambassador of the Federative Republic of Brazil to Belize, Luciano Elmond Maciera. After the break, Coast Guard hosts its annual luncheon and award ceremony.
Delicate, the beer of Belize.
Ven acá.
Pero no esperaban eso.
help.
Keep your head high, no woman no cry, make nobody mash up your life. People may try, no woman.
I am a survivor of domestic violence. I got help. I got help from Youth Enhancement Services. They can help you or they can connect you to an organization that can help you.
I need help. I do too. Can you take us to the Youth Enhancement Services?
Sure, I can.
To combat and build awareness, Youth Enhancement Services encourages everyone to speak out and make reports of suspected cases of domestic violence, human trafficking, and commercial sexual exploitation. If you are aware of any suspected cases, contact these hotlines to make a report. Crime Stoppers at 922 or Domestic Violence Unit at 0800 Away Out. This message was brought to you as a part of the ongoing CARSI grant with support from the U.S. Embassy.
Welcome to Belize Healthcare Partners Limited, where the health and wellness of the youngest members of your family are important to us.
We are offering here all the care of the babies, newborns, adolescents, toddlers. We also have a neonatal area in case a baby needs a NICU. We have an ICU area for pediatric patients, offering treatment for asthma or patients after a surgery or any other emergency that the kids have. We have an emergency with all the equipment and all the nurses, specialists for the babies and the kids.
For child-friendly pediatric and neonatal care, call us at 223-7870 today.
Belize Healthcare Partners Limited, your leader in healthcare.
Every day, young persons are infecting older and high-risk family members and friends with the COVID-19 virus. This Christmas could become the super spreader event we've all been afraid of. The end result is suffering and a horrible death. Please, do not let a couple of hours of fun cause a lifetime of mourning and pain. Practice physical distancing, wash hands often, and wear your mask properly. Staying home this Christmas will ensure many more with your loved ones in the years to come. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite VoIP calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call internationally. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment, our new PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBX. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. But that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Today, the Belize Coast Guard held one of its tradition, the annual Christmas Luncheon and Awards program. The Christmas Luncheon for military or service members is a long-standing tradition first started in the Belize Defense Force and has since become a part of the Belize Coast Guard's ritual. It's an event used to express gratitude to the men and women in the security forces. News 5 attended today's event at the Belize Coast Guard's headquarters. Here's a look at how that went.
The Belize Coast Guard held its annual luncheon and awards ceremony today to recognize several officers for their outstanding performance on the job this past year. Because of the pandemic, the Coast Guard scaled down its activities but still managed to observe their tradition, where the men and women were served by the officers. Commander Gregory Sabaranis says this day is as much about their members as it is about their families.
Today, the Coast Guard celebrates this Christmas luncheon under the theme Celebrating Family. For two reasons. One, we celebrate the hard work that the men and women have done throughout the year, their service to country, and so as the leadership, as a form of servant leadership, today is the day where we serve the men and women under our command. And secondly, we also recognize and honor their families, because by extension, the families as well make sacrifices as it relates to their significant other, husband, wife, being out at sea.
One of the highlights of today's program is the distribution of the awards across multiple categories, including Best Seaman, Best Engineer, and Best Unit. Ensign Tafara Welch received the award for the Best Patrol Commander, and Petty Officer Class 2 Edwin Nunez was recognized with the award for Best Coxswain.
I received the Patrol Commander of the Year award. As they explained, it goes to the commander who showed professionalism within and outside the organization, who has done their part, always operational ready, and just always being a good leader for everyone. Well, I wasn't expecting it, but I guess the work that I've done over the past year spoke for itself, thank goodness, and it was a surprise, but I'm very happy to have received it. Well, over this past year, I've dealt with a lot of search and rescues, whether it's actually retrieving or actually saving somebody, vessel groundings. We've done multiple customs and immigration operations, and also drug operations. So it's been a very busy year.
The award is Coxswain of the Year. It's an award whereby you can navigate at sea during the day and at night. So you can reach point A and point B without no issue or problem. No?
What was that experience like for you this year?
Honestly, this year, I'm shocked that I got it. But basically, I try my best to safely get my troops to point A and point B at all times during the night or day without any issue or any problem, without any injury, without any problem, you know.
Commander Gregory Sabaranis says these awards go a long way in recognizing the exceptional performance in the line of duty.
They've really gone, as you would call it, the extra mile, when called upon for duty and for service. And so at this time of the year is where we recognize those efforts that they made throughout the year, and they're given a special award for that. This year we've extended the awards because of the flood operations, and there were those who really exceeded the normal routine duty and service that you would execute in the Coast Guard. So for that, we presented them with the Humanitarian Award.
The awardees were joined by the Minister of State in the Ministry of National Defense and Border Security, Oscar Mira, and CEO in the ministry, Dario Tapia. As a former law enforcement officer himself, Minister Mira shared in the traditional Christmas lunch and extended good tidings to the Coast Guard.
I think it's very important for us to acknowledge the hard work and dedication that not only the Coast Guard, but all our security forces have done during the past year. It's a tradition that we come and we serve the men and women of our security forces in appreciation for what they have done, the sacrifice that they have done. It's not an easy job. I was part of the security forces, and I can tell you, it's not an easy job, but we do it because we love what we do. And it's just a sign of appreciation now.
Several sailors were also promoted. They received their new rank pins from the commander of the Coast Guard. Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5police.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.